Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This week we're going to be talking about how to manifest the impossible even if you have doubt. This is something that's come up a lot this week. I've been speaking with a lot of you guys on consultation calls, and the one thing that comes up over and over again is a lot of you are feeling intense doubt towards your goals and your manifestations. And you're so focused on removing the doubt that it's completely just taking you out of the whole process, and it's taking you away from focusing on the things that are actually important and that are actually going to get you to your desires. And I want to just reassure you, and I want to share with you what I share with my clients, which is that you can manifest whatever you desire with a ton of doubt. And I know this because I have manifested so many things while I was filled with doubt. And I'm not saying I doubt all the time, but I've had intense periods of doubting whether it was possible, doubting whether I could do it, like all the different branches of doubt. And I still managed to manifest seemingly impossible change into my reality. I've had things manifest that I had doubt in until I saw them physically before me. And I know that sounds like it can kind of contradict a lot of the manifestation advice that you might see online, like you need to believe it fully. But sometimes you can tap into a parallel version of you who's able to manifest change even while feeling doubt. And the reason for that is a little bit of doubt is not going to override your dominant state and your dominant frequency. And that's what's aligning you with a new experience or with whatever you're experiencing in your reality right now. Okay. So your overall identity, your beliefs, your thoughts, and your dominant emotional state, that's what is creating your energetic frequency. And that is what's materializing things for you and creating your perception of the external world. So if you have changed that to be resonant with something new, even if you still doubt whether you're going to see that something new every now and again, that's not going to contradict the complete shift that you've had in your energy. And I can only tell you this as someone who's lived it. The biggest example I have of this is when I moved to Spain. And I know I give this example all the time, but it was just such an insane, dramatic change in my life. And it was something that I doubted for so long. And the way it came in didn't make sense. The way it manifested for me, it was so quick. And by the time I had landed in Spain and put my feet on the ground, I was like, I actually can't believe this happened. I had a small bit of doubt the whole time that I was manifesting this thing and aligning with this thing. But I just kept showing up. I just kept visualizing it. I just kept, picturing that it was going to happen. I kept, every time I could come away from the doubt, hoping for the best again. Journaling, doing the inner work, meditating, all of that stuff. I kept showing up and doing all of that, even though I had moments of really intense doubt and hopelessness and feeling like I would never get there. So I'm going to break down today why doubt does not matter and what actually does matter and what you can focus on instead of just focusing on the doubt all the time, so you can start feeling better and start aligning with what you actually want. So the reason why doubt doesn't actually matter is because that's just the logical side of you trying to make sense of a desire that it can't make sense of. So literally all doubt is your past programming trying to make sense of a future vision that it has no business trying to make sense of, and it never will make sense of. So if you think about the universe basically as a matrix, it's all these different experiences and parallel realities and dimensions existing simultaneously all at once. When you set a big goal or you have a big desire that's pretty far outside your current experience of reality or anything that you've experienced up until now, that desire is on another timeline, meaning you must become the version of you who's on that timeline in order to experience that reality. The key thing to remember with that is the logical side of you who exists here today has been programmed with everything in your external reality, and it can only give you ways how and evidence and reasoning according to what you physically have experienced so far. So if you're taking this desire that has no correlation to anything that you've physically experienced so far, and you're putting it in front of you saying, yeah, I'm going to get this, automatically that logical side of you is going to say, that doesn't compute. There's no way how. There's no evidence. I've never experienced anything like this. It's not possible and it doesn't make sense, okay? But that is literally just the animal, logical, survival-driven part of your brain. And all it knows is what it's been programmed with. You, when you shift to the reality where the desire exists, that logical side of you is going to shift, and that version of you is going to know the how, and it's going to make it make sense. So this version of you doesn't need to know how. And that's the big thing that people have a big problem getting their head around, is like letting go of the how. You can't keep thinking about a future vision as the old version of you and expect to figure out how to get there. The logic of this version of you only knows how to keep you in this reality. So if you want to go to the other reality, then you've got to stop thinking about it so logically, and you've got to stop feeding into the logic and the doubts of this version of you, because all that's doing is it's trying to keep you stuck here. This doesn't mean that you're going to just set this big goal and not feel doubt. In fact, if you've set a goal and you're feeling doubt, it's just a sign that that goal is a really exciting goal that's going to stretch you. All you have to do is stop taking the doubt so seriously. Realize it's the logical aspect of you trying to make sense of something that it can't make sense of. And just make peace with that. It's like this side of you is just lashing out going, I can't compute this. There's no way this is going to work. And you can say, you know what? You're not coming with me anyway to this timeline. So you can feel doubt and I can still move forward. Because if you want to take this a step further, there's a parallel version of you who can get this desire even when they feel doubt. So you want to start believing in that version of you and embodying that version of you, because it's the story and the narrative that, oh, if I feel doubt, I'm not going to get it. That's the reason that you're not going to get it. You can feel a ton of doubt and still get what you want. And that's the thing that I want you to just keep affirming to yourself. Even though I feel doubt, even though I feel down, even though I may be releasing all of this fear, I can still get what I want, because that is the truth. If you say that that's true, then that's what you're going to experience. So when I was moving to Spain, I had that dual aspect of me, like my logical side, which, by the way, your logical side is like your dominant side. It's the side that most of us live in, that survival paradigm, that programming, that fear-based belief system that most of us run off. I was operating from that a lot of the time when my doubts were coming up, thinking, okay, well, I won't be able to move because I won't be able to do this thing. I'm not going to be able to find a place to live. I'm not going to have the money. I'm not going to sort out this family situation that I have to deal with. All of these reasons my logical self were throwing at me and infusing me with doubt as to how this was going to happen. And I just let myself feel the doubt, but I kept coming back to the vision and the desire. And I kept leaning back into the other side of me, which is my intuitive side, my visualizing side, my imaginative side. I kept leaning back into that with this desire. And I allowed myself, I call it playing in your desire. I allowed myself to still play in this idea and this vision and this desire. Even though my logical self was screaming at me half the time, telling me that this was stupid, I still let myself have it and hold it and play in it. And I've mentioned this before, but I'd go for walks, I'd listen to music, I'd picture living exactly where I live now, being around the people that I'm around now, doing what I do now. And every time my logical brain started going, it's not possible because of this, I just go, shut up. And I let myself play in the desire. And what happens is you begin to energetically prime that reality, that timeline into your energy. And eventually your logic catches up. But even still, I still had some doubt all the way until I landed in Spain. And then I was like, oh my God, it actually worked. It actually worked. So you can still have that little nugget of doubt until you've made the full shift. All that matters is that you're still showing up. You're still showing up for the vision. You're still doing the identity work. You're still shifting your beliefs. You're still shifting your energy. That's what really matters. And it was almost like when I was experiencing that, I could literally feel like that logical side of me was glued to the old timeline. It was like, no, it doesn't make sense. All this information I have that you've experienced up until now, it doesn't compute with what you're showing me. So no. But I could feel this other version of me that my intuition was pulling me towards, and this other timeline. And I could literally feel myself separating and coming away from this one. So even though I was feeling all this doubt, I still was moving with my intuition and moving towards this new version of me. And so if you're shifting a timeline, it's okay to feel doubt. You just have to keep moving forward. So now let's get into what actually does matter. When you're feeling doubt, it's because you once again are placing far too much importance on one external circumstance, on something in your external environment changing, rather than focusing on your internal reality. That is the only reason why you would start feeling intense doubt. So I spoke with a woman this week and she was telling me how she really, really wanted her career to change. She wanted the specific role. And she was saying how she really had a lot of doubt for this one specific manifestation. And we made the correlation that this was one thing that she wanted probably more than anything, which means she was in resistance to every other possibility. And when you are in resistance, you're basically blocking the flow of your manifestation or the thing that you desire to you, okay? Because what you resist persists. So this is a really like sneaky little law of the universe, but the universe does not care whether you resist something, whether you desire something. It just cares what you're focusing on. And so if you are so worried about the potential worst case scenario happening, about not getting the job, about not getting the relationship, about being single for the rest of your life, about being in the same financial situation for the rest of your life, you're sending your focus and your energy to the thing that you don't prefer. Even when you're resisting it, that is you focusing on it. And so the universe doesn't see like, oh, they don't want this thing. They just see you focusing on it and you get more of what you focus on. So you will be sent more of the thing that you resist. That is the law. And so really people say, okay, I'm doubting this. They think the problem is doubt, but actually the problem is resistance. The remedy to stop feeling so much doubt is to, first of all, accept that you're feeling some doubt over whether this might happen. And then accept the fact that there are a million ways that this desire could come to you and be open to every possibility. So this is basically you making peace with every scenario. This is really going to nip the doubt in the bud because you're feeling so like frustrated by doubt because you're so worried that it's not going to happen. And that's why the feeling is so intense. But if you can make peace with not getting the job, with the worst case scenario, then you essentially get out of the way. Because if you're standing there going, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, you're going to block the flow of what you desire coming to you. This ties in once again with treating your external circumstances as a god that gets to tell you how to feel and treating everything around you as bigger than you rather than realizing that you're the creator of this whole experience. And when you decide to give yourself permission to feel the feeling that you're associating with getting the outcome that you want before you have the outcome, the best outcome that's going to resonate with that feeling state is going to come to you. So for example, this woman who wanted this job, I was asking her, okay, how can you make peace with not getting it? Do you actually trust and believe that you are going to align with the thing that's actually best for you no matter what, even if it's not this job? And she slowly started opening up and saying, well, yeah, if I don't get this job, maybe it means actually that something better is coming. Maybe it means this is happening. Maybe it means this will work out. And then this is how you start shifting your perspective from being a circumstance essentially and saying, okay, when I get this job, I'm going to be this, 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 and this. You flip it and you say, I am this, 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 and this, which means the external reality is going to shift that. So you're taking the external event, the thing that you're like so frustrated with and you want so badly, you take it off the pedestal by realizing you're the creator. You have to focus on the energy you're embodying. And then you can trust and let go and realize that everything that is aligned with that energy will start coming to you. You don't need to manifest it. You don't need to chase it. You don't need to run after it. You need to simply become the energy of it and let go of the external changing. Let go of looking for it. So when doubt comes up, it's an opportunity for you to get really honest with yourself about the energy that you've been embodying. It's an opportunity for you to shift your energy and your perspective, because it is a sign that you're placing far too much importance on the external and not enough importance on the internal. If, for example, you've been trying to manifest your dream partner and you're feeling doubt as to whether that's going to happen, turn that perspective, turn that focus that you're putting on the external world and point that back at yourself and ask yourself how you have not been in the energy of the ideal partner, how you have not been embodying the husband, the wife, the partner that you want to become, because that's actually why you feel doubt. If you're focusing all the time, if you're looking for evidence all the time in your external world, it's because you don't 100% believe that you are the version of you who can have the thing. Part of this is our conditioning. We have been conditioned to place 100% importance on the external world, but you've got to start breaking that, because when you keep putting importance on everything outside you and you keep waiting for evidence to have permission to feel a certain way or be a certain way, you're always going to be a slave to your external environment, and you're always going to feel very intense doubt, and it's going to stop you from moving forward. So the most important thing when you feel doubt is to ask yourself, how can I shift my energy? What have I not been doing? Most of you are on autopilot. Most of you don't actually want to do the inner work to change your beliefs, to shift your identity, to break your patterns. You just kind of want to say, I want this thing, and you want to sit there and wait for the magic to happen. And that's why you keep looking outside you for the answers, and you keep outsourcing your power, and you keep doubting whether it's going to happen. It's because you're not actually placing 100% importance on the internal, which is the only thing that actually matters. And if you did that, you wouldn't care about the external, because you would know that you're the version of you who's going to get it. So it's fine to feel doubt so long as you still are taking radical accountability and responsibility for your state and your perspective. And you can flip-flop like I did. You can have a week where you feel intense doubt, but just make sure you're recommitting at the end of that. I can't tell you how many times I have fallen off track with my new embodiment, my identity work, with whatever I was doing, and then just gotten back on the track. Like any goal that I've achieved, it hasn't been linear. It has never been a straight line. I've had periods of doubt. I've had periods of my trauma getting triggered, of all of this stuff that I had to process. But the one thing that mattered was me just recommitting. Every single time I fell off, recommitting to my vision and recommitting to this parallel version of me that already existed. And no amount of doubt can overcome that. Okay, that's all for this video, guys. I hope it helped. Please remember, you've got everything you need to align with the life of your dreams. You just have to shift your energy to the version of you who's there already and let go of everything else. If you're an entrepreneur, creative, or visionary, ready to finally break free from self-doubt and burnout and align with your full potential, you can find the link below for one-to-one coaching as well. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in the next video.